I am a senior iOS developer with the Capital One Labs team. I actually started at Capital One about 3.5 years ago and was kind of one of the first employees they brought over to a group that ultimately became Capital One Labs. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit today about how we leverage both hackathons and design thinking to keep changing things in the banking industry. So just a little bit about how and why we go, and we basically understand that there's this thing called the incumbent's dilemma, where companies like Kodak cease to exist even though they invent the digital camera and patent digital photography. So we don't want to be one of those companies. So we are working to build out new things that'll help us remain a great company. And here's some data to kind of back that up. Less than 15% of the companies that in 1955 were Fortune 500 still even exist. They haven't fallen a little bit, they've just completely ceased to exist. Now I'm just going to show you a little bit. So that was kind of why, as a company, we think we need to be creative. And then here's just a little bit of an interview where some people, how they view the banking industry. Is there audio? There's audio for this? Okay. Does it matter which? Okay.
And they just plopped it over and wrapped it into like an app shell and was like, oh, look, we have a mobile app, check it out.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
So that's kind of the high level, is we want to make things that don't suck. So a couple things that we use is, I was talking a little bit about hackathons. Hackathons, we do a very compressed time frame, and the goal is to build something that works. And we go and we try and build, it's more suited towards the technical folks, but it's a mix of engineers, product people, and designers. And you want to have really compelling products that are built after 12 to 24 hours. You then take those projects and you present them to senior execs so you can quickly figure out whether they're viable and relevant to the business. And then design thinking is a little bit more about identifying with the user two methods that we leverage. We do the hackathons about once a quarter. And we've got some folks in the audience. How many people have participated in a hackathon? Awesome. So we love doing those like once a quarter. And I'm just going to show you a little clip of one of the hackathons we did in the past. And you'll get to see a little bit of our physical space and how we think and work.
So we brought 30 people together today, and we're trying to create a bunch of new products in less than 24 hours.
So the goal coming out of the hackathon is to come out with a prototype that's tangible enough to turn into a real product.
We have 12 hours. We have 5 teams. There's at least 4 distinct concepts being built right now. And tonight at 10 p.m. there's a hard stop, and we're presenting to a panel of judges. And the winning team gets money and I think some Nerf weapons.
We've got developers who are skilled in iOS development. We've got server developers. We also have designers.
It's going to work if you're a developer and a designer to build things and to impact people's lives. And for Capital One, this is a new methodology in terms of the hackathons to allow us to accelerate that final impact on somebody's life. All right, we're going to get out of your way.
What do you guys have so far?
Every subsequent transaction that gets posted will decrease their slush fund balance.
Cut now to guarantee that you'll have time to get it done, because if you're not there, we got a problem.
We're in the stretch right now. Everyone is hustling to get their project done.
Get after it!
What we try and do is say, look, let's pull a bunch of smart people into a room, give them some problems to solve, and have them really rapidly build the minimum viable thing that will show how you meet the need.
It's awesome because the solutions they come up with in 20 hours is better than the solutions teams work with for 4 weeks.
The problems you face today aren't certain at all. And so what we're really doing is harnessing people's creativity and ingenuity to design solutions that sort of map to the chaos of the real-world business problems that we face.
The concept of slushy is a way to have a better understanding of how you spend your slush fund.
$100 are now gone out of my slush fund.
The app updates to show that you have 57% of your slush fund left.
This thing rocked. I mean, I download this tomorrow. Categorization of spend was really elegant. Brian's our persona that we looked at. His roommate pays into the check every month, and it takes forever to clear it. So he needs to get his funds from his roommate faster so we can have a clear picture of his money.
Okay, here we go.
There's a text message that's coming in to tell me that I got paid.
We put them together, we unleashed their creativity, and they came back with just wow factor innovations. After about 12 hours of development, it was great. But the bigger value isn't actually what was created tonight, it's the way the teams work together and learn to frame very important problems and solve them very, very quickly in ways that can be produced. That skill, that's what's going to add value in the long term to Capital One. It's amazing what they created, but the bigger value is what they'll probably create in the future working as a team.
About hackathons that I really find the most exciting is you get to work on whatever you're passionate about, and it's kind of a day of freedom that's baked into your work schedule, and you get to go out, and if you want to check out some new technology, you get the opportunity to do that, and you have this odd opportunity to pitch. Those were some of our very senior executives, and they come and they hear us pitch our product. They take a look at what we've built, and they really can give you quick feedback and sometimes, help pull strings to make things come to life. I'm now going to show you a little bit about how we leverage design thinking. So we have taken in and are leveraging some of the Stanford D School methodology for design thinking. We have a couple folks who have come and joined the team. But the key there is we want to really understand our customers and what individuals really want their products to do. So it's a lot of interviewing folks and really finding out what they're excited about. And then you kind of go and flare out and try and figure out what the solution could be. It's kind of like the hackathon where you have that big flare state where you have a ton of teams creating a ton of different products, and then the executives kind of help focus us on what's actually relevant. And you really get the opportunity to fail quickly and learn a lot in a compressed amount of time. I'm going to show a quick clip from Evelyn, who's come to us from the design school at Stanford, and a little bit about how she's infusing design thinking into the Capital One culture.
Design thinking, it's a very hands-on activity, so we believe in showing, not telling, and learning by doing. So it is a design project that people are going to lean into and actually go through the whole design thinking methodology. I think the value behind all of this is just a different mindset and a different way of working. We're so linear in how we usually think about going about projects, and we're also siloed. We set our computers and try to figure it all out ourselves. This is all about iteration, doing things in cycles, and lifting your head up and saying, hey, who can I ask to get more insights into what the customer actually wants?
Have you guys ever done any sort of design thinking exercises? Any sort of like brainstorming, kind of writing ideas on the wall? So this is kind of a really nice framework that they use to kind of distill all that together and help leverage that to either solve known business problems or help find new opportunities to build solutions for customers. This is just a little bit on how we actually take things that we find out during those design thinking exercises, and we create those into prototypes that we'll roll out in the lab, and we'll just get to folks who actually work within Capital One Labs. We'll then kind of work with other folks to get an associate release going, and then ultimately the goal there is to always continue to quickly reevaluate whether it's relevant and kind of fail fast. If it's not relevant, we won't have invested too much. And then ultimately, a few things will make it actually out to customers at scale, or they may not. A little bit on I think we talked a little bit about the Capital One Labs team. We're kind of the startup within Capital One who's out there to try and figure out how to make your bank not suck, if you will. And then we have some folks who are out in the different tech ecosystems. We have some folks out in San Francisco, some folks here in the DC metro area, and then some folks in New York, and kind of focusing on different areas, some big data stuff, some public API stuff, and then some kind of consumer-facing applications. And I hope this is helpful. I hope you guys may go and try and learn about design thinking and bring it into where you work. Might think about trying to get your executives excited about hackathons. I know you guys have a hackathon here, but if you don't already, they're definitely an awesome way to work on what your engineers are passionate about and really get your leadership to buy into things that might seem a little bit crazy. Thank you, everyone.